One day, maybe 1,000 years into the future, YouTube videos could be considered art. First, we have to settle if, video games are art. And talk radio. I think then comes Vimeo, PayPal transactions, Yelp reviews, Instagram views, YouTube comments, and then maybe the YouTube videos themselves. I think that's the order. Oh, did you see the Advanced Knife Bros' exquisite yet subtly absurdist piece about knockoff purple Chinese pocket knives? Oh, what's a pocket knife? I thought we were only allowed knives in the Blue Apron area nowadays. In that beautiful future, my videos might be properly appreciated, and the time where I cut my ear off might actually be viewed as a sign of my tortured brilliance and not a horrible mishap during the shooting of a video. That and this Spyderco joke may be properly contextualized within the YouTube knife comedy genre. So if we call this knife the military, and this one the paramilitary too, because it's smaller, shouldn't this even smaller one be called the Two Dads on a Saturday Open Carrying at a Starbucks? What a brave soul, he lost 2 subscribers. For art. Yeah, because you can't open carry at a Starbucks anymore, idiot. Or am I going to talk about Real Housewives with Frank? But before we think too hard about that last joke, and if that's really how assholes in the future will sound like, let's look at the dimensions and screw it. You know what? We're doing all 3 knives here. No blue lines, like the overall length and weight. I know you knife bros are just getting used to them being back after they were gone. So, sorry, you guys. Blade size, cutting edge. Now I have tried other colors here, but blue seemed to show up the best. Plus, blue is the color of blue sky, which is the purest of the pure. Handle size, grip area. Now in this section, I'm not including choils in the grip area measurement. Unless I found out this video was under 10 minutes, then I would go back and add them in. We'll see. Spine thickness, handle thickness. While this review compares all 3, I'll mainly talk about the Para 3, because I already did videos about the other ones. Tallness. If perchance you missed those videos, they'll pop up at the end for the 100 or so people who watched that far. The Spyderco Para 3 is a smaller version of the ergonomic everyday carry formula popularized with the large military, the medium-sized original paramilitary, and its, revision, the paramilitary 2. And as a point of clarification, paramilitary 2 replaced the original paramilitary. However, the Para 3 isn't a replacement for the 2 because it's just a different size class of knife altogether. Does that make sense? No! Moving on. For a while I've wanted something in an all-natural range-free G10, but something that felt right, and in a Spyderco. The Chinese lums and natural weren't really right for me, mostly because I haven't gotten the YouTube hits off the lesser Spydercos. I go with the more popular ones. And when BladeHQ offered this in M4 and natural G10, a blade steel and a handle material I didn't have, or actually, mainly because subscriber Steve Brule asked me a year ago, I graciously waited for all the other channels to get the clicks, of course. And here we are. Let's look at the blade. This particular knife is that Spyderco drop point or clip point or whatever the hell any particular description calls it, in M4 steel with a satin finished full flat grind. M4 is a pretty high carbon content tool steel, meaning it gets patinaed easily or stained quicker or rustified if left wet. I'll link Cedric and Ada's steel test at the end, but M4, despite not being stainless, is pretty wear resistant. What one might call a super steel, the word super of course referring to price. You'll notice my blade has some discoloration after use, which doesn't bother me in the slightest, but you can get the standard in S30V if you want something that doesn't discolor as easy. I mean, you actually have to now because the M4 is sold out because it was a BladeHQ limited exclusive run. Now I could brag about that, but it would make me sound like buying a limited run pocket knife when I have many other knives already, like a smart thing that I should be proud of. Deployment is handled by the spider hole, using either the bird or the thumb. If you have watched any of my folding knife videos, you might know the compression locks and axis locks are my favorite. That's because they lock up easy, and the mechanism is designed that to disengage, you have to move your fingers out the way. They're fun to fidget with, and this is no different. It wasn't near as stiff as my Spyderco Caribbean compression lock, and I didn't really adjust this one, or at least the pivot. I found on this one though I can't flick it open if I just fling it downward. However, I have noticed on some compression locks, if you adjust the pivot for easier deployment, you might be able to fling it downward and get it to open. The handle is comprised of partial liners with jade or natural or ghost G10 scales. It's a light green that's sort of translucent and looks like it glows in the dark, but it don't. The G10 scales have a decent amount of texture, and if you're a filthy person who never washes their hands, light G10 shows dirt or fecal matter kind of easily. So maybe it's a good idea to start washing your hands now. The grip area is barely big enough for my hands, it ain't uncomfortable, and it has that choil up front, so it gives you some extra room if you want to choke on it. You have some of that nice, finely textured Spyderco jimping up top on the blade spine right there where the handle ends, which I like. And now I'm going to name drop Cedric and Ada twice because he paid me a lot to do this. But I recently was watching his video where he mentioned knives with compression locks became uncomfortable for his push-cut steel test videos. Mind you, most people do not use knives like this, doing hundreds of repetitive cuts over a few minutes unless they're cutting up all the bodies, just because overall my knives with compression locks feel comfortable to me, like this one. That doesn't mean everyone feels the same way. I know. The handle is an open back design, and my rule of thumb is don't carry keys or change in pockets with open back knives because that shit will ding your blades. The pocket clip, all 4 positions, tip up, tip down, right or left pocket, all the possibilities. The stainless steel clip is nice and smooth, not deep carry, about 1.25 inches sticks out of my pocket of the handle. The clip I want to say is stainless steel and has the right amount of spring for me to slide into the pocket. G10 can chew up the interior of your pants because of its texture. This isn't super aggressive, but you may want a slicker handle if you wear dandier pants. Comparisons. This one will not replace my favorite Spydercos, but will add a small alternative to them that costs about the same. I like the steel and the scales. It has a fidgetable lock. I prefer the Paramilitary 2 though, and if I could ever find a reasonably priced Jade Paramilitary 2, I would have bought it. But now I have the Blurple S110V, a great knife, a steel that is long wearing and doesn't stain quite as easily as the M4. It has a larger handle than the Para 3 and larger blade, and it's only a fraction of an ounce heavier. If you need more utility out of your blade, stick with this one. If you live in an area with dumb knife laws and you need a blade under 3 inches, go with the Para 3. Now the military. I probably carry this one as much as I would probably carry the 3 long term. It's a bit too imposing in the work cafeteria during lunch, unless it's process and cook your own elk day, which is Thursdays. However, it seems to stain similarly to the M4. I'm referring to the steel in the military, which is 52-100. And all of these knives do come in slightly cheaper S30V versions, which is what I recommend for most regular people who think spending over $100 on a pocket knife is a wonderful idea. Now the Spyderco Caribbean, not quite as large as the military, so it's a bit friendlier for work environments where you have an HR department. It's my new favorite Spyderco, but some people hate its looks. This one, on the other hand, is a rust-free steel, so it's a very good utility knife for wetter, bloodier conditions. Benchmade 941. Haven't shown this one in a while, which makes subscriber Jake Disty do a frowny face. Very, very light compared to all the other knives here. It's a great knife too, although I have a lot more knives competing for pocket time these days. I like the handle size just a little bit better. Alright, how about a smaller knife or two like the Rat 2 from Ontario? This is a lesser steel, although you can get it in D2 now for about $40. I've always found this knife kind of ugly, however it is comfortable in the hand. It's light, and Nick Shabazz likes it. One other small knife, the Delica 4 Warncliffe. This one is about $70. It has a nice steel, much slower deployment, and not as fidgetable. This has never been a knife I carried much. A lot of people like it though. I bought it mainly as a YouTube comparison knife. So what do you do in your spare time? I review knives on YouTube. Oh, okay. Are we about done? If I had to briefly describe each of these knives from what I'll call the military series from Spyderco, I would phrase them as follows. The military is a perfect large weekend outdoor knife. Large is in size and not large as in like a 3-day weekend. The Paramilitary 2 is a great all-around everyday carry. And the 3 is a knife for people who need something smaller and less America because of laws, work environment, or maybe they have smaller hands. I'm more of a Paramilitary 2 guy, but I see the reason people like the others. I like that they like them. Steve Brule wondered to himself why I had not reviewed this knife. It's because it seemed like it was a smaller Paramilitary 2, which is never something I had ever said I wanted. And if you like this sort of review, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Although according to a comment on one of my knife videos last week, requesting a thumbs up in addition to a comment is a bit too much to ask for some people. I get it, man. Leave a comment. Thanks for watching.